Hey everyone, in today's personal trainer business tip, we're going to talk about Facebook and landing pages. There's no doubt that Facebook is the hottest return on investment medium right now. We get dozens of prospects every month into both our facilities using Facebook ads and Facebook landing pages. And I just wanted to share with you some of the things that I wish I knew when I got started with Facebook advertising. So I'm going to walk you through one of my landing pages that is working very, very well. I'm going to kind of distill it down into the key elements that you can use to set up your own landing pages and talk about what the Facebook ad that should look like that leads to those landing pages, the statistics to watch as you interact with both in order to maximize that medium. You can literally get dozens of prospects for just a couple of dollars each for your each of your fitness businesses each month. So it's absolutely one of the best mediums that you should be using in your marketing calendar. And if you watch my other stuff, you know how much I believe in using multiple mediums of the marketing calendar, and this is just one of those things. So watch the screen flow as I walk you through all that, and hopefully this video helps you out. Okay guys, here we go. So we're going to talk a little bit about landing pages and Facebook ads and your marketing calendar and those kinds of things, because it's no secret that these days many of us are generating tons of new client prospects each month from channels like Facebook. Facebook in particular, not unusual to generate 50, 60, 70 new client prospects per month for just a few $100s invested on Facebook, which is why I think particularly for trainers that are really trying to get going with their marketing calendar, it's such a great medium to use. Now the caveat to that is don't become dependent on just this medium. It's very easy to get sucked in and think, and in reality you probably can grow your whole business from Facebook, but there are going to be times and a day coming soon where Facebook is not going to work as well as it is at the moment, so you need to be diversified into multiple channels, and that's something that we'll always encourage. But today let's talk about landing pages and Facebook. I'm going to share with you what has worked well for me. First off, you kind of see before here one of my landing pages that's worked really, really well. You can see a very professional and clean looking page and lots of great elements with multiple points to jump into the offer. The point with your landing page is that you always want to give the user an experience. Think about how you look at things. You generally only look at things that you're interested in and capture your attention or interest, which usually means that you have some kind of an emotional connection to it. So there's probably tons that can still be improved on this page. I've used it for a while. It's worked very well for me. But even as I look at it here today, I see and think of a few things that I can redevelop and continue to improve how this works. So remember, the number one goal of your page is to establish an emotional connection, or at least an interest or curiosity factor that makes people want to keep going. You want to give them the easy opportunity to move forward with your most wanted action at key points, but also the opportunity to continue the journey. Your job is to make sure that they can continue and carry on to interact and learn from you as long as they want to. So you, in my opinion, want to have more steps or a long enough page that they actually decide to leave it or finish with it before they get to the bottom. Leave it ideally by clicking one of your engagement spots, and interacting with your deal. So let's talk about the key elements of the page. These 8 things are the key elements that your landing page will want to contain. You don't necessarily have to use them all, but each one of these things has had an important role in my landing page. So first off, an emotional headline or something that captures their attention. If we jump back to the landing page for a second, did you know an afterburn workout can burn fat for up to 28 hours? The key point here is that many people get excited about being able to burn extra calories and keep their workout going for 28 hours after it's finished. And that's the point that gets them to watch the video and begin to engage with the page. So the next thing is, and actually these two should probably be swapped, the interactive video to stimulate relationship rapport. And you have a typo here, we can fix that quick. So the video is really exactly that. These days everything is very interactive in nature. So by having a video that allows them to play, watch, and engage, it's a really great opportunity for you to establish your relationship there on the spot. On my particular landing page here that I'm showing you today, we're using this whiteboard scribble video that Fit Body Bootcamp has created, which I've found to be very entertaining and has actually helped create some engagement. But you can create an amazing video with your iPhone these days, and I think there's something to be said about having you standing there talking to people, interacting with them, using emotional language, and developing that relationship. Because for most of you as professionals, you are building your local brand. It doesn't matter what your business is called so much as people buy you. So it's great to sell you and establish a relationship. One tip with that I'm going to give you if you are filming your own videos, you can do amazing stuff with your iPhone or your Android device these days. But the one thing I'm going to encourage you to do is get a microphone. And I found this article online. I'm going to post it down in the description of the video afterwards for the 5 best cheap mics that you can use for your iPhone. And I actually use this number 2 one, the Audio Technica. I use this with my DSLR camera and my iPhone. Today you're hearing me just on a standard iPhone headset as I do this screen capture. But the point is, using a microphone, even if your video quality isn't the most amazing, when the audio is good, the video is much more enjoyable to watch. So I can't tell you how important I think a microphone is. So back to our elements of our page, that emotional headline followed by a video where you get to interact with them. Good to have testimonials and stuff in your video, but don't just fill it with that. Really try to have some, have a conversation with people, answering those how, what, why questions of, hey, how would it feel if you finally reached your fitness goal? What would life be like? How would it be different? Because those are the things that I want to help you with. I want to get involved in a way that other programs haven't and let you down, because I actually care. That's really the big message that you're trying to convey. Now, when you are posting your offers on Facebook, I have definitely found I can get more purchases and more interaction if the offer is $49 or less, so just a little tip. And once you get into the meat and potatoes of the page, this is where your sincere storytelling comes into play. Much like the video, the point is that you are interacting with them or creating a relationship, but we want to actually do a little storytelling about, why it is that we have this offer. Because really, that's one of the big things as a consumer, for us to be convinced or to decide to purchase something today that we didn't necessarily go looking for or think we needed. It's really about understanding the why. Why would we want this? Why is this important? Why is this individual someone I want to deal with? So it's great to tell a little bit of a story about why you're doing what you're doing and why it's important before we simply pitch them on an offer. And a lot of people make this mistake, I think, because we're so conditioned to look at what big brands do, and big brands don't generally waste a lot of time on storytelling. You're starting to see it more today, but traditionally they haven't. And there's a reason for that, because when I say Coca-Cola, you already have images in your mind of what Coca-Cola is, what it stands for. If I say CrossFit, same thing. If I say Under Armour, probably even same thing. So point is that their storytelling is already done through the other media and brand elements that they've done. So when they're pitching you an offer, they don't necessarily have to use that storytelling, because the very image of their brand actually creates that story in your mind. After the storytelling, that's when we get to the solution and offer. And if you've listened or seen any of my sales training stuff, I really believe in a pattern of emotion, affirmation, solution. So before we get to the solution, I really like to try to use yes questions in my copy. Even if it's simply, as I've described something, I've told part of my story, followed by a shortened sentence is, does this make sense to you? Or can you relate to this? Something that I can get people saying yes in their own mind to before I actually give them the solution or the offer, in an effort to help solidify that purchasing decision. Social proof is a no-brainer. If you can show them and have quotes and testimonials of others touting your service, that's always more valuable than saying how valuable you are. And then the final things is actually giving them a little features benefits comparison, because as consumers, we like to measure those things. We like to look at reviews, so if we can provide those things for them. And then absolutely 100%, I believe that you have to have a money back guarantee, because the bottom line is that your job really isn't to sell anything. It's just to make it really, really easy to try. So you see some of that here, the features and benefits of the FitBody brand, which, by the way, unfortunately, you can't use these images. They are branded images for the franchise. So make sure and replace these kinds of images with your own. Before and after photos of some of our clients and the social proof. This particular one is even one of my trainers. So it's really, really powerful, when you see somebody that started as a client, became a trainer, and their success stories on the wall. Our features and benefits, what makes us different, easy to find. So our map that they can interact with, know right how to get to us. With this particular offer, I pretty much always use a timer that will count down to when the offer ends, so you have that scarcity and urgency. And then, of course, the money back guarantee. A little bit of social sharing here, so some kind of extra perks and tweaks that you can add in an effort to hopefully extend the reach of your offer even further. But in a nutshell, you can kind of see how this page is organized. Now, if I'm revising it today, what I'm going to look at probably revising is this section here where the storytelling, and I'm going to expand this a little bit more. And I'm actually thinking I'm going to film and try a couple of different videos here the same way I've told you, with me carrying on conversation with people in an effort to help engage them. So before we just end off here, we're actually going to jump over to your actual Facebook ad. Now, this particular ad is one of my kind of best performing ads. It's always worked well for me. Let's try to move it down on the screen here so you can see all of it. And we typically find that these kinds of pictures work well. Pictures of pretty girls that are in a group, fitness-related girls, always get more interaction. That's just kind of the way of the world. But bottom line, if you look at the copy here, very, very basic. A lot of people using Power Editor, so they can put in more text. I personally like to stick with the normal ad manager because I think the limitations of text, I don't ever lose anything under See More, how it displays on mobile. I just find it works better for me. Can be a little frustrating because the characters are pretty limited. So 1 month of boot camp, 1 month boot camp for $39, getting in shape for summer. So this was obviously spring ad, isn't as hard as you may think. We'll prove it, full unconditional money back guarantee. Emphasis here is on the risk reversal and that guarantee to make it easy. Facebook only offer only 12 spots available, so we really let people know the only place you're going to find this offer is in this medium, and try to create a sense of scarcity and urgency. I have the sign up button in this particular ad, but I actually find learn more typically works better for me, so you can kind of experiment with that. Bottom line is when you set up your ads, this copy certainly can work. It's very, very straightforward, and usually straightforward direct copy works the best on Facebook. The biggest determining factor with your ads and how they're going to work is the image. So what you want to do is when you set up your ads, look at them in about 48 to 72 hours. The statistics are really changing now. You're getting some really good data, but a traditional one that's always been useful is the click-through rate. And about 3% is what you're looking for a good click-through rate for your ads. So you want to look at them 48 to 72 hours. If your click-through rate is significantly lower than that, definitely change your picture. And I always take advantage of the ability to use 6 different images and create 6 different ads when I set up my campaign, so I can make that decision easier in 72 hours. And if all of them are performing like crap, then we'll change those pictures out. Other good things to note about your picture, remember Facebook's blue and white. People are scrolling through the news feed, and you want to have pictures that stand out from that blue and white, so try to use different colors than the blue and white. Excuse me. There's lots of talk about video right now. A couple of times I've tried video. It hasn't worked well for me yet with my local locations. Definitely for more national advertising, I think it's working better. But you can try video as well. It should work better, but it just hasn't for me so far, so maybe not the right video. Final things that I wanted to mention. I've totally lost my train of thought for a second. Oh yes, okay. So 3% click-through rate. You want to make sure that you don't. 3% click-through rate for your ads is definitely good. That tells you you're getting good traffic to the page. Now these types of opt-ins where I'm selling a short-term trial, I'm typically finding an average of about 15 to 25% is kind of the average opt-in rate. For me, it's a pretty steady average around 22% up front, and that's a good benchmark for you to reach for. So if those clicks that are reaching your page, if less than 15-20% are actually giving you their email as step 1, then it's probably safe to say that this page could be improved and that people don't like the page, or they're just not getting that emotional connection. On the back end, when people click here to give me their email address, it will take them next to the shopping cart where they can pay online. And I find about 8% of all my clicks are paying online. So another good benchmark for you to achieve. Again, if it's less than 8%, it may be a pricing issue. Perhaps your shopping cart doesn't look professional enough. I know there was in the beginning, I was trying to be thrifty, and I was using one shopping cart for my Red Deer location and my Edmonton location, which were 2 different cities. And even though that was identified in the shopping cart, it was confusing for people to see that it was 2 different cities, and as a result, I would say they just didn't trust it as much. So those kinds of things are factors that are going to improve your conversion. Hopefully this is some good, helpful introductory stuff for you on landing pages and Facebook ads. It's definitely a huge medium that works very, very well for us. I've talked a lot about the product I use to create these landing pages because it's very, very simple to use. So if you're like me and you don't have a lot of technical know-how, it's been really important for me to have a system that makes it so easy to create these landing pages. So I'm going to post the link for that resource and what I use to create these landing pages below as well. Hopefully this video helps. Check out my other stuff, and be sure to visit profitablepersonaltrainer.com for more tips like this.